Today's AskReddit post. People of Reddit, what unethical brands do you refuse to buy from? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. I don't buy anything from Reddit. Ticketmaster. Fucking this. Talk about a monopoly. They can take their fees and duck themselves. I refuse to buy from Wish. I don't really have anything against them, but I refuse to buy from them. I don't know why. The cheap scam alert just starts ringing in my brain when I see ads for them. It's a scam with horrible products, but also they steal designs from real people and sell cheap poop-tea knockoffs with the original creators' images. Wish are dodgy as hell. I'm a cyclist and I've recently been seeing adverts for a pair of Mavic full carbon deep section wheels. A proper pair of these will cost you around $2,000 I think, but these are advertised at about 10% of that. Likelihood is that the manufacturing quality for those will be absolute poop. Carbon badly laid up and full of voids. Wheels made of badly constructed carbon fiber would be a death trap. If you're going downhill at 40 miles per hour and the rim on one of your wheels just randomly fails, it can kill you. Some of the poop they sell isn't just poop. It's also really dangerous. TLDR, don't buy from Wish. Yo, OP. In case nobody has mentioned it, there are apps like Boycott and Good Guide that let you boycott products super easily. For your information, as of the 1st of June, Good Guide was taken offline. Do you know why? A bunch of companies probably got butthurt. Nestle. Yeah, so do I. I love Crunch bars and Butterfingers, but once I learned how Nestle operates I stopped buying them. Edit. Also DiGiorno frozen pizza. I'll just support a local pizza place and pay extra. I had a Butterfinger a few months ago and something really seems different about them from when I was a kid. They changed the recipe in 2019 and it does in fact suck now. I don't recall what or why, probably to get more palm oil into the product so they can clear more orangutan habitat and extinct the species. Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. I ducking hate Goop. I ducking hate Gwyneth Paltrow. I hate Gwyneth Paltrow so much I consider Kevin Spacey the hero in C7N. Okay, but did you see her documentary where people fake orgasms without touching anything? Lumber liquidators should be on here. They keep getting caught poaching endangered trees for hardwood flooring. Weren't their products contaminated with a poop load of formaldehyde for a long time too? Edit. Their products, of which completely fail safety standards, are probably in your house and you have no idea. I feel like you're my subconscious bringing something up I can't fully remember. Fashion Nova is horrible. Fast fashion is a huge issue. They exploit workers overseas enduring horrible conditions for very little pay, and they also significantly hurt the environment and steal from small creators, designers. They're a disgusting brand on so many levels. I also hate how all the Instagram influencers promote Fashion Nova. A few intercoursey ladies influencers I follow are constantly promoting that stuff. Meanwhile they are always advocating for social issues. Kinda hypocritical. This is what makes me nuts. Popular culture. Plastics are in everything. Even synthetic fabrics. Stop buying and using so much damn plastic. Also pop culture. Sequins. Glitter. OMG, you totally want a sequin unicorn shirt and glitter everything else. Don't bring sequins and glitter into this. I feel like the same people buying quick fashion are the same crying about banning straws for turtles. Chiquita Brands International, because it's the continuation of the infamous United Fruit Company. United Fruit Company is the company that engineered a massacre of striking workers in Colombia. Christ man, they couped like several Central American countries so they could sell as any bananas as possible. Hence banana republics. All MLM and network marketing companies. Walmart. The Humane Society. I'm sure there are more but I can't think of them at the moment. This is too far down the list. Seriously, MLMs are trash. They treat their employees like garbage. Yes, they are and do. They also sell dangerous products, bone it, and give dangerous medical advice to terror and young living. Then of course some of their CEOs are murderers and doctors who've lost their licenses among other things. Young Living is a ducking cult. Source: my wife did that poop for a while. It was frightening. TikTok. It's basically Chinese spyware. Edit: thanks for the awards. Just woke up. Obligatory ripping box. Not basically, it is Chinese spyware. Can someone explain this? I've tried googling it. If you read this thread you will realize that nearly everything you buy comes with serious ethical issues. It is nearly impossible to avoid consuming things that cause harm. What we need more than you individually boycotting a company you just discovered has unethical practices is for you to join a political movement to hold the wealthy and the powerful accountable and to regulate business practices. There are simply too many people who are either oblivious or refuse to be inconvenienced that render little boycotts here and there ultimately ineffective. The market does not regulate itself effectively. This is a myth and a lie. Indeed, the blame is always focused on the consumer. Don't buy from this company. Buy this slightly more eco-friendly product, when the reality is that the vast majority of environmental damage and CO2 output comes from industry and manufacturing. It's a direct failing of the world government's MO. People always say that we need to pass more laws to protect the environment, but we already have a zillion of those that just go unenforced. If governments would nut up, enforce their own laws, and make the punishment cost more than the profit from the crime, we would probably be on track to be carbon neutral. Yes, this is very true. People love to guilt trip someone's individual practices, but the real blame is on a failure of government, which is failure of accountability and a failure of justice. And the very idea of regulation itself is politicized and reduced such that people's brains turn off. There are good regulations, bad regulations, regulations that are unenforced. Each individual regulation needs to be viewed independently and in its proper context in order to make a judgment on its value. Being against regulation is just you turning off your brain and buying into some bull poop. Zara. They're disgusting. They straight up steal designs and ideas from small businesses and refuse to give credit or pay for what they've taken. Their clothing is overpriced, poor quality garbage. Edit: if you want to see the designs they stole, just Google Zara Tuesday Basson. OMG, the quality is the worst. I worked on a show off Broadway doing wardrobe and everything from Zara had to be patched constantly. I think designers love it because it's cheap and there's a wide variety, but they don't see what we have to do to maintain it after the show opens. I didn't know that Zara had such a bad rap. I had a suit from Zara that lasted a year and a half with no complaints. I wore it about twice a week for various reoccurring occasions. Zara is expensive and high quality where I'm from. This is super surprising to hear. Here in Australia I'd say they are a mid-level brand. Expensive would be all the proper designers. As for high quality, it really depends on item to item rather than brand to brand. LuLaRoe. All MLM pyramid scammy things are anti-MLM. Facebook. Too much poop revolving around them. Instagram is owned by them too, right? Yep. And WhatsApp, Oculus, and plenty of other services. WhatsApp is slightly isolated, but it definitely isn't gonna last long. And the end-to-end encryption is sketchy. WhatsApp has become important for my work and it's unfortunately the most popular communication app outside the US. I really wish another would come along. Sinful Colors nail polish. 10+ years back my sister told me about how they took her friend's nail art pictures and used them for marketing purposes. She asked them to either give her credit or take them down and they refused. Anything Kardashian Jenner, makeup, shapewear, whatever else they are peddling, I refuse to give that awful family 1 red cent. I loathe that entire family. Lenovo. It seems every year they are either putting malicious code or conveniently overlooked security backdoors into their hardware, and when called out on it, their response is, was that wrong? Should we not have done that? I have laptop from Lenovo that constantly drops the Wi-Fi. Googling the issue shows it's a common problem, but none of the recommended solutions have worked for me. So annoying. That's a legitimate issue. I thought that was happening because my Wi-Fi sucked. Damn, had no idea. Victoria's Secret, among many others, Versus has most of their exorbitantly priced items made by free prison labor, and the parent company L Brands is owned by Leslie Wexner, the single billionaire client of Jeffrey Epstein. He willfully or ignorantly handed over financial control and funded a monster. Wolf Cola, and their other drink, Fight Milk. It just doesn't sit right with me. Fight Milk? Damn, that's a pretty badass way to market milk. It's made for bodyguards. By bodyguards. Fight like a crow. Core. Nestle. Fuck Nestle. Ah, fuck Nestle. Duck. Nestle. It's hard not to buy stuff from them at some point. They're basically the Amazon of chocolate candy. Hobby Lobby can duck right off anything I see in an ad on YouTube. I don't buy from fast fashion brands, H&M, Zara, etc. They aren't unethical, but they are terrible for the environment. One of the most wasteful industries. I love fashion. Don't get me wrong. I tend to lean towards a more vintage vibe anyway and thrift shop a lot. But when it comes to sneakers, I'll spend a little more on some better brand over a wasteful brand. Edit. Yes, I realize that these companies are unethical now. I take it back. I completely forgot. My bad. Edit 2. Thanks for the likes. I am new to Reddit. Agree. But they are definitely unethical. There's slave labor, child labor, and dangerous working conditions in fast fashion. I'm a thrifter too for that reason. Nestle and its brands, Mars, Hershey, and Folgers. More generally, I don't buy any chocolate, coffee, or clothing that uses exploitative labor, as far as is in my power. Lots of child slave labor in those industries. If you see Tony Chocolonely, they're a Dutch chocolate brand that actively combats child slave labor and invests in the communities it gets its supplies from. Bit pricier than average, especially in the US, but it's quality chocolate with an even better ethical stance. My wife went on a business trip to Amsterdam last year and brought back several bars of this. It's awesome chocolate. I've seen it in higher end locally owned grocery stores in both Washington state and California. So it is sold stateside. While it does run slightly pricey compared to other fancy chocolate brands, Cho, Alter Eco, etc., you get way more chocolate per dollar. EA Games. It used to be that you either bought a game or had microtransactions in a free game. EA single-handedly changed this, so you had to buy the game and then pay for microtransactions to unlock the good part of the game. Google most downvoted Reddit post, and it's EA customer service trying to justify their decision to put microtransactions into Battlefront. If I see a game with EA on the cover, I absolutely 100% will not buy it. They also won most hated company in America a couple years in a row. Even Comcast didn't beat them. I wish they didn't win. So many other companies deserve to be hated as much as EA. Totally agree. As a gamer, I hate EA with a cold blue rage that's endured years. But I do realize that there are seriously worse companies around. How is charging for DLC and generally being a dick in the gaming world worse than dumping oil into the sea or stealing water from poor peasants? I recall Coca-Cola pulling a stunt like this. Dolskill. Why? A bunch of reasons that I just recently learned about. Most recently their CEO posted a picture of the police in front of a store location in SF, I think, with the caption encouraging police brutality during the BLM movement. The picture was later deleted and they issued a shallow apology letter. Many influencers and employees I follow have since cut ties with the brand and exposed them for a lot of other shady practices. They constantly steal ideas from other, smaller, independent artists and refuse to pay for their creative work. They have sold and advertised countless of awful shirts and other products like Dead Girls Can't Say No, someone mentioned below, but there were so many more. Just do a quick Google search and you can find a lot more encouraging eating disorders, mental health conditions, racism, rape, etc. Edit. Store was actually in LA, not SF. As someone pointed below. Also, they profit off yet marginalize intercourse workers. The stripper heels they sell are also poop tea quality and not safe for actual performing. Anything the Kardashian-Jenner family members sell. If I could ditch the overpriced insulin, I would in a heartbeat, but you know, I'd like to live. Here in Canada, the vial is $40 can. In the US, the same vial by the same company is $550 can. So freaking unethical, overpricing life-sustaining medication. In Sweden, insulin is classified as medicine essential for survival, so it's completely free for people with a diagnosis. What can we do to make this happen in the US? This seems so obvious, but it hurts so much to live like this financially. I really want to leave this poop hole country and live in a place where my basic needs are met and I don't have to pay up the ass to stay alive. Pieces of ducking plastic costing hundreds of dollars. It's not just insulin but pump supplies and CGM costs. I'm being slowly tortured to death, but what the duck does anyone care in this poop hole country? Well, in light of recent events, Jeffree Star Cosmetics, I don't think it's fair to say recent. I've been hearing about it for years now, and I don't even follow Moors, right? Hasn't it been known for a while that he's a terrible person? Yep, but no one really cared until now. I will never forget when I was in the 4th grade, wearing a Gap Kids tank top. A cool teenager told me that the Gap uses child labor and I just thought, oh poop. I've never bought anything from the Gap to this day. Every major company uses child or slave labor at some point in the process. Welcome to capitalism. There are a bunch of companies selling ethical clothes. Two of my favorites are Everlane and Alberts. Just googling whatever you're looking for and ethical is usually a good place to start. Capitalism translates desires to production. When we start caring about how things are made with our wallets instead of cynicism, the market will meet that demand. I'm a Michigander, so Nestle. I asked my friend, a woman from Michigan, if she was a Michigas as opposed to a Michigander. Apparently not. Huawei and TikTok. I refuse to support the Chinese regime, and yet, some people will say, oh, but they're private companies. I call BS on that. Do you really think that the regime that treats civilians like trash is going to pass up the opportunity to infiltrate their enemies? Or that they'll just casually let a corporation do whatever it wants? Number. China is not to be trusted. We should be suspicious of every piece of technology coming out of China. Edit. This is perhaps one of the most controversial comments I have ever posted. The fact that the Chinese government is trying to defend the daughter of the CEO of Huawei from being prosecuted in Canada makes it really hard to believe otherwise. Walmart. This is an easy decision as Target is closer and I have had better shopping experiences at Target. They don't pay their employees well despite raking in billions in profit, and I doubt paying their employees a livable wage would even touch their bottom line. Also, I already give Walmart money without even shopping there. Thanks. Corporate welfare. I find it very odd that many people who criticize Walmart are all too happy to buy stuff from Amazon. Amazon's labor practices are just as bad, but they operate under the guise of being a successful tech company. Amazon has the market by the balls with their Prime shipping. Once you try it, it's incredibly addicting. Getting poop in 2 days is more important than caring about monopolization, labor practices, and tax loopholes. I am guilty as well because I'm a weak piece of poop. Primark. Kick. The lowest price clothing stores basically. Isn't Kick that dodgy app? Kick brings back PTSD. Urban Outfitters. They put a suicide note on a shirt because you were mental illness is 20. Edit. It wasn't Urban Outfitters that made that shirt, but they've still done some poopty things. A few examples are in the replies. They also made a Kent State sweatshirt with blood splatters on it after the Kent State University shootings in 1970. Fucking yikes. Dude. Walmart and Amazon. I work for a small transport company, so I've seen how they bully small companies with fines for like everything if you don't do things their way. Plus they also have a lot of internal stories about terrible employee treatment. H&M. TikTok. Not enough people know how bad TikTok is. No major brand is going to be ethical. Ever since they said water isn't a human right, I've tried to avoid Nestle products, but it's hard. They are everywhere and sometimes you don't realize that a brand is a subsidiary of Nestle. That's why most people don't ever bother. It's so hard to boycott big companies. You give them money without you even knowing. Brands that still test their products on animals. L'Oréal Garnier for example. A ton of companies' brands still test their products on animals. Also BC of laws in certain countries like China, I think, require that almost everything sold there be tested on animals. Not sure if they have changed that or are looking to. They haven't. It's still required by law if cosmetics are sold in mainland China to test on animals. So if a company claims they are cruelty free, check if they sell in mainland China. If they sell in HK, they don't have to. Nike, shitty ethics, poopty products. I used to be really big into Chucks until I found out they're owned by Nike. I ended up switching to PF Flyers, which is owned by New Balance. Perhaps the most ethical major sneaker company. Turns out, even with ethics aside, PF Flyers are simply a far superior product. Once, I was at a party club, and this guy pointed to my shoes and asked, "Are those PF Flyers?" I told him that yes they were, and he said, "You, sir, are the PF Flyest." He knew what's up. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.